All right, we had a little remix there. A little misclick turned into a remix. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. What's going on? How is it going for you guys? And welcome to the stream. Welcome to the beginning of what's going to be a huge variety week for streaming here on my Twitch channel. We got quite a lot going on. Continuing and concluding playthroughs, new playthroughs, expansions, the return of more variety to the late night streams now that Fire Emblem is over. Hallelujah. We got a lot going on this week. And what I would say is this week, okay, is the final week of kind of the calm before the storm. What I mean by that is this week we really don't have any major releases. This week it's more expansions, finishing up older projects, etc. Starting next week, we are going to have pretty much every single week moving forward, into the end of the year, multiple new releases. All right, and we'll talk about that in a moment. At least 1 to 2 new games every single week. I mean, when those new consoles hit, holy shit, is that going to be crazy, right? This is going to be a wild time, for sure. It's going to be a wild time. So that being said, I am obviously excited for that. I hope you guys are excited for that as well. Heading into the end of the year, the crazy busy gaming season, covering all the new stuff is going to be quite a undertaking, considering the amount of games coming out next month is ludicrous. Actually, may be the most packed November in history because of the new console releases coinciding with other big AAA releases. This may be the most games in the shortest amount of time I've ever seen in the 12 years that I've made content for the internet. So, woo! But anyway, that's starting next week. This week, it's a little bit calmer, but it's going to be a fun week regardless, all right? So let's talk a little bit about what will be happening this week. Before I do, I'd just like to say I'm happy to be here because yesterday we had a crazy amount of windstorms and thunderstorms, actually. We usually don't get that until autumn, and now we're getting it. We're getting full-on autumn weather here now in Washington State, which means cloudier days, wind, rain. The temperatures have definitely dipped. In fact, this week, the temperatures are down by about 15 degrees Fahrenheit than they were just like a week to a week and a half ago. And so finally, we're going from, okay, don't need air conditioning, don't need that kind of stuff anymore, to, oh man, it's cold, we might need to turn on the fireplace, or oh shit, we might need to turn the heat on in the house soon. We're transitioning over from our, regular sheets on the bed to heavier sheets and maybe putting on the heavier comforter. It's that time of year, but it's also a great time of year because of so many nice things that happen in the autumn, as well as all the new games that come out, of course. So yesterday, our power was flickering on and off all day because we had crazy strong winds. And my alarm clock, which I purchased, no exaggeration, when I still had my office job back in the day, over a decade ago. It's a pretty good alarm clock. I got it from Brookstone. For those who don't know, the Brookstone is a kind of a high-end store here in America, or the United States, I should say. Usually you can buy like featured premier products. If you go to a Brookstone store, you go to their business online. And so I bought this this clock a long time ago. What it was a dual alarm clock that had a cool basically it was very easy to see no matter where you were in the room. It was a good display on the front. But also, it's one of those ones that has the increasing level of alarm. Starts off low, then it gets louder and louder. And the reason I got this is because when I had the office job, I needed to be sure to get up in time and get to the fucking jobs, not to get fired, right? This isn't some fuck around job that I care if I get, fired from fucking Best Buy or something. Who cares? But I need to be able to get to this office job. This is a job that I was trying to have for a career. And so I got this really nice, it was expensive too. Brookstone stuff's pretty expensive. I used that clock for over 13 years. All right? I love that clock. And then all of a sudden, the power going on and off yesterday, the clock fried. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Now, in 13 years, a lot's changed with the alarm clock technology. Now, you can buy a clock for like $40 that actually has more features than the clock that I bought 13 years ago for like probably just about 100. Seriously. So what was funny is I went out yesterday, you know, and by the way, yesterday was my day off. Man, we had, again, like I told you guys, we had so much to do in one day. We were running around like crazy. We had to go here, we had to go there, we had to do this, we had to do that, and it was all on a time frame. So even though it was a nice day out to spend time with my wife, it was also a very hectic day. And I actually said to her, next week, I'm so happy, next week we're not supposed to have any appointments and no commitments. We could kind of relax and do whatever we want. And we haven't had a week like that in a long time. And we need a week like that because the last 3+ weeks have all been stressful weeks for us. So anyway, while we were out yesterday, we're already at a store where my wife needed to get something. And I said, you know, while we're here, let me see if they have alarm clocks. And I went over to the alarm clock section, and they had a ton of stuff. Most clocks you see now, they all have some kind of a docking feature with a phone. Dock your phone and have it play music and shit. And I don't give two fucks about that. I don't even have a single song on my phone. I don't listen to music, so I don't have a single song on my phone to dock it and play on this on a clock. And a lot of them also have the ability to either dock your phone or charge your phone with a USB. I don't need that. My dresser / nightstand, bureau, whatever you want to call it, has built-in charging already. It's a pretty nice one. You know, when I moved here, my parents actually bought me as a gift, a moving gift, housewarming gift, the furniture for the bedroom. And when they did that, they bought the nightstand has plugs built into it that you plug your phone in already. So I don't need that. You know, I don't care about that in the clock. So they had like 10 different clocks, and most of them were, oh my god, fancy colors and shit. Like, who the fuck wants colors in the bedroom? You're trying to sleep. Why the fuck do I want colors shining in my face in the bedroom, right? So I got the cheapest one possible. And it's basically a clock that looks like the shape of it is round. It kind of looks like it's trying to emulate or kind of be reminiscent. Almost an homage to the old style alarm clocks. Remember, they were round. They had the, you know, the numbers on the face. not digital readout, but, you know, they would have hands to tell the time, and they would have the 2 bells on the top or whatever. So this clock is round, but it does have an LED readout. It's not, obviously, numbers on the face. But it has where the bells would have been on the old style alarm clock. It's 2 alarm buttons. So you can set 2 different alarms, and it's got a night light built in. You know, they all have these fancy features or whatever. So anyway, I grabbed the clock, and my wife surprised me and bought it for me. She says, I'm already buying something here. I'll get it for you. I was like, oh, that's so nice. That's the nice thing about someone who loves you, is they'll surprise you every once in a while with something nice like that. But I was wondering if I was going to be able to get up on time today, because obviously I never used this clock before. And the clock is so weird. It has 4 different tones. The first tone sounds like the Twilight Zone. It goes, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. I'm like, wait, what? I don't want to wake up to the fucking Twilight Zone. Especially imagine if you're like half in a dream and you're trying, and all of a sudden your alarm goes off and it sounds like the Twilight Zone. You'd think that, you have a horror wake up nightmare, lucid dream or some shit. No, I don't want that. But anyway, it's pretty nice. It woke me up. And yeah, I was like, wow, this is a pretty nice clock. So I did wake up. I was afraid maybe I wouldn't. But I did wake up. It woke me up, so hopefully this keeps up. I actually felt nice and refreshed this morning when I woke up, which is a good thing, right? Why don't I use my phone for my alarm? Because my phone is always muted. Because, as you guys know, sadly, many, many years ago, I was doxxed. All my information hit the internet. So when you're doxxed, you mute everything. Because at any moment, you could have some guy from the other side of the globe calling you about trying to sell you plantains. I'm serious. So everything just needs to be blocked or whatever. Okay? There you go. So anyway, yes, I woke up. New alarm clock seems to be working nicely, which is good. So let's talk about what we're doing this week. This week is going to be a good week, I feel. Okay? So, first of all, today, we're heading into the end game of Crash Bandicoot 4. We're actually at the very end. Excuse me. We're actually at the very end of Chapter 8 out of 10 worlds. Alright? So, 8 out of 10, we have the boss fight to do. And then once the boss fight's done, worlds 9 and 10. Now, normally I would say, oh man, two chapters, 2 worlds, we're beating this today. Right? There's no, of course we're beating it today. It's going to be the end of Crash 4. But, I've actually heard that the final worlds are very challenging. Like, up to now, there's been some challenge, but it's kind of like, you just keep slamming yourself into a wall. Eventually, you're going to kind of break through the wall and win. You know what I mean? From what I'm going to understand, these final worlds, like, you really have to get good in order to beat this game. Okay? So we're going to see firsthand today. But I would love to say, oh, it's the end game. We're going to beat the game today. But I can't guarantee that. If the game is as hard as people are saying it is at the end, then it's very possible we will not be beating the game today. And I might need to do like a late night stream later on in the week in order to wrap up the game. All right? So we'll see what happens. If I beat it, great. Obviously, that means we can move on to other stuff. But if I don't beat it today, then don't worry. Don't worry, I will eventually, this week, beat it, probably on a late night stream. Okay? Later tonight, the late stream, speaking of late stream, is going to be the return of Animal Crossing. If you can believe it, after over 2 months away, not playing the game, we're going back to it tonight. Because the game has had a big fall update, which includes things such as new decorations, new plants like pumpkins, new crafting items. Obviously, this means new bugs, new fish for the new season. And my wife's been playing the game recently and says that basically the island is all new islanders at this point. Like she didn't get rid of them. The older islanders kind of asked to leave. Likely being because neither of us were really playing it for the last month and a half because there was nothing going on in the game. So we both stopped playing it. And what happens is some islanders start asking to leave to kind of mix things up on the island. So she let them. And now we've got apparently a slew of new islanders who are hanging out on Paw Print Island. So, I'm exciting. I'm exciting. I am exciting. I'm very exciting, as you guys know. You come to the streams for the excitement of me, because I just exude excitement. But I'm excited to try out Animal Crossing tonight. Usually when we play Animal Crossing, it's very relaxing. It's just about kind of hanging out with you guys, having some fun conversation, and then, of course, thrown in there, playing the game and relaxing and having some fun with some of the random stuff that we do. So, obviously, I want you guys to hang out with me tonight. I hope you'll be here for the late stream, starting around 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Now, if this goes well, then maybe I'll consider adding Animal Crossing back to the late night rotation like it used to be, once a week. Not twice a week, that's too much, okay? When the game was new, twice a week made sense. At most, I would play Animal Crossing once a week moving forward. But I'm curious to see how people, receive it tonight after being away from it for a couple of months. Will people like it? Or will people be like, it's boring, don't do it, right? So let's see what happens tonight, okay? Tomorrow, I'm going to go play more Amnesia. And you might say, well, what? What do you mean? You beat Amnesia: The Dark Descent on Monday, right? You finished it. So what are you going to be doing tomorrow? Well, when I bought this Amnesia collection on the PlayStation 4, it included both the Justine DLC expansion for Amnesia: The Dark Descent, but it also included the sequel, A Machine for Pigs. From what I've heard, the Justine DLC is fun to try out, but it's incredibly frustrating because it's permadeath, meaning if you make one mistake and die, you have to start the whole DLC over. I guess it's around 1 to 2 hours long, depending on how good you do. But considering you have to keep redoing it over and over, it's not super fun. Like most people say, it's actually quite frustrating. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try it once, and give it a shot and see how far I can get. And if I die and it's too much to redo, I'll probably say, fuck this. And then I'm going to start up the sequel, A Machine for Pigs. Now, that Machine for Pigs was not made by the same people who made The Dark Descent. It's a different development group, okay? So it has a different feel to it, supposedly. It's a different style of game. But I definitely want to play it because, number one, it's part of the Amnesia plotline, right? And number two, it came with the collection. And I don't have much else to do. We're in Halloween Horror Month here, which I'm going to talk about in a moment because, by the way, yesterday I did spend some time looking at Halloween costumes and I have a couple good ideas, okay? But anyway, yes. So, I'm going to start that up tomorrow. So tomorrow it will be, tomorrow it will be Amnesia, Justine DLC, give it a shot. If I beat it, great. If I die and I don't want to do it again, then fuck it. And then starting up a Machine for Pigs. Okay? Thursday night, it will be Batman, Return to Arkham City, my weekly session where I do Riddler stuff. Last week, we actually got really far. Like, we actually did most of the internal areas and did all the Riddler content for them. So this week, maybe I would do some more overworld content. I think there's one more building that has Riddler stuff in it that we didn't do or didn't finish yet that we could go back and do. And then after that, it's all overworld content, grabbing the Riddler informants and then doing the riddles that show up on the map. So we'll see, but that should be fun. A Thursday night chill stream of Batman, okay? Friday, all new stuff, guys, because it is Ghost of Tsushima's expansion Legends. And this is going to include New Game Plus, which I don't care about because I already beat the game and platinumed it. But also is going to have a 2-person co-op mode against enemies, so PvE, co-op basically. And then it has a 4 versus 4 PvP mode where you can play as different like demons or legends from Japanese lore fighting each other. And it's free. So I'm going to check this out on Friday. If this ends up being something fun, great. Then maybe I'll do it every once in a while. I'm kind of comparing it to the multiplayer that was in Assassin's Creed for a couple years back. Remember that with Brotherhood and Revelations, it had multiplayer? I mean, we all know that was superfluous to the actual game. It wasn't necessary. At the same time, it was actually quite fun to go and play because it was something different. And I'm hoping that that's kind of what this will turn into. If not, if it ends up being kind of crappy, then meh, we don't have to do it again. But I'll mess around with that on Friday and we'll see exactly what it is. Okay? And then Friday night, it's the return of Throwback Street Fighter, a late night Street Fighter session for you guys on Friday night. That should be super fun as well. As usual, I enjoy doing Street Fighter. Okay? Now, for the rest of the weekend, it will depend on how things go, right? Like I said, I'm probably going to want to play more Amnesia. So that's going to be coming up this weekend. Continuing on with the Machine for Pigs to see if I can beat it. As for late night content, likely I'll be playing maybe some Fall Guys on the weekend. And as I told you guys when I played this Monday night, Fall Guys is something I will likely do once a week moving forward. I'm probably not going to do it more than that. And quite frankly, if it gets boring, then I'm going to stop. But I did have fun playing it on Monday night. In fact, I did play the other new stage that I hadn't played yet, which is the variation on... Well, actually, there's 2 other new stages. One of them is a new egg stage that I'm so confused because it doesn't seem to be apparent how you really play it. It seems to be different from the other egg stage because you can't really steal eggs and escape, but maybe you can. I don't know. I couldn't really figure it out. And then there's another stage with rings that you have to jump through, and it's very different from the original stage with rings. This one, you need to actually move ramps, and there's a lot of luck involved. So anyway, I'm going to be checking that out sometime during the weekend as a late night stream, okay? I definitely want to beat Crash 4. Excuse me. Hold on. I definitely want to beat Crash 4. Okay? So that's going to happen. Crash 4 is going to conclude this weekend. And I want to play, like I said, a Machine for Pigs and see if we can maybe beat it this weekend. I've heard a Machine for Pigs is only about 4 hours long. So as long as you don't get stuck on it, you can beat it really fast. So, you know, maybe we will beat that this weekend as well. Now, some other possibilities for this weekend. Some people have just asked in the stream chat, when am I going to finish Mario Galaxy? Well, the truth is, Mario Galaxy is all but done. There's like 2 worlds left where I need to get the purple stars. And it's not, and then after that, there's Luigi content, where you play as Luigi and you replay the game as Luigi. So, likely if I do that, that would be a night stream coming up, where we just do that as quickly as we can. And just do it, you know, do it quickly. I don't think it's going to be anything major. I just think it's going to be something that I do want to do because I don't want to have a lingering playthrough that I didn't finish. But at the same time, I think we could probably beat those 2 purple stages in like 30 minutes. And what do you do with the rest of the stream? Right? So I don't know. I'm debating it, doing it this week. I'm also debating starting up something new. Either in the form of Hollow Knight or checking out this Genshin Impact game. If these do take place, it'll be like Sunday or Monday. It's not going to be anything earlier on in the week. We got to wrap up everything else I'm doing first. But I'm debating doing that because, you know, everyone seemed to want me to do a Hollow Knight playthrough. And it is kind of horror themed when you really think about it. So I might start that up. Or with Genshin Impact, it's just the hot game everyone's talking about right now, free to play, but tons of microtransactions, and, you know, just to see what it is. I'm not going to spend any money on the damn thing, but maybe just to see firsthand the game that everyone's talking about, so I have a frame of reference, you know, since everyone keeps referencing it and talking about it, and I've never played it. It would be nice to at least try it out because it's free, and see what the hell all the commotion's about, right? Is it actually really worth playing and or getting time into it, or is it really just something people are playing because it's free? You know, I don't know. I seem to see a mixed bag. Some people are saying it's not that good, but it's free, so it's kind of gone virally popular because of that, and others are like, no, the game's like seriously good. It just happens to have that free-to-play gacha model, and so it's actually getting like a bad rep because of it. You know, so I don't know. We'll see, maybe. I don't know. Well, again, it depends on how things go this weekend, too. It's very likely I might not even beat the next world in Crash today, and then I need to do, like, multiple streams of Crash to finish it because the ending's so hard or whatever. And because I suck, let's be honest here. I'm not good at Crash. I've been sucking really badly at it. It's not like I've been, oh my god, Phil's been doing so good. You know, retro platformer action. No, it's the opposite. I've actually been dying a million times. Every stream, I've been dying between 150 to 200 times in Crash Bandicoot 4, so... Can you imagine? Can you imagine how long it'll take me to beat this game if that's the case and the ending is really hard, like people are saying? I mean, it's pretty funny, right? Okay. I feel like I have to sneeze before we continue on. Give me a second here, and then we're going to talk about new releases. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so continuing on. So, so that's this week, which, you know, this week's gonna be a variety. Conclusion of Crash 4, continuation of Amnesia content. Hopefully, finishing all the Amnesias before the new Amnesia game coming out next week. You know, late night fun stuff with Animal Crossing, with Fall Guys, with Batman. So good variety on the late stuff. Maybe even the conclusion of Super Mario Galaxy, depending on how stuff goes, and maybe even starting up something new with either, say, Hollow Knight or Genshin Impact. So interesting stuff this week. All right. Next week is when the new stuff hits. Next week, first, it's the release of Amnesia Rebirth, the new Amnesia game that apparently is a direct sequel to the original one that I just beat on Monday. Okay. So I'm very happy that I played it to get the background, so I'll understand what's going on in the sequel, hopefully. Okay. So we'll see. That comes out Tuesday. Now, of course, I'm not here Tuesday. So it'll actually be Wednesday that I'll begin to play that game next week, okay? Also next week, the major DLC release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, The Crown Tundra. This is the final piece of content released for the Pokemon Sword and Shield game. The second DLC, more new Pokemon to get. Of course, there'll be a plot. For one to understand, it's very similar to the last DLC, which was the Isle of Piss. No, I don't remember what the last one was. Isle of something, wasn't it? I don't remember. Fighter's Island. But anyway, that's going to start next week as well. So those are the two major releases for next week that we'll be doing, and balancing with all the ongoing Light Night Chill stuff and anything that's a kind of held over from the week before. If I'm continuing with Hollow Knight or Genshin or whatever, we'll be continuing with that. Okay? Then, the week after that, which is the final week of the month, we've got Watch Dogs Legion. That's right. The first AAA release and the beginning of a start of a slew of AAA releases. The new Watch Dogs game. And then we've also got the Dark Pictures Anthology Little Hope horror game coming out at the end of this month. Okay? Then we got my Halloween Horror Marathon, which good reason to mention that now is because yesterday I spent some time out and about, as you know, looking at Halloween costumes. And I have an idea for 2 good Halloween costumes. All right? 2 different good ones that I could wear. But it's actually determined on you. Because if you guys remember, you guys are actually voting for what category of Halloween costume I'll be wearing, okay? And looking at what was available, there was 2 good costumes. One would be a video game character, and one would be a pop culture icon. From what I'm to understand, the voting is neck and neck right now for each of those, okay? Like, neck and neck. And I'm like, okay, so if it goes one way, I'll do this costume. If it goes the other way, I'll do this costume. You see? So let's see what happens. Obviously, you guys still have some time to vote. It's only the 14th. I'm going to leave the poll open for 1 more week. Basically, you guys will be able to vote on the costume until my next day off, which would be Tuesday coming up next week. So last chance, absolute last chance to vote on what kind of Halloween costume you want to see by taking !costume into the stream chat. I'd say either costume would be good. Personally, I feel that maybe the pop culture costume may be a little bit better than the video game costume. All right, but I think either one you guys would enjoy. All right, I do think that either one would be an enjoyable costume for you guys for the Halloween marathon. So please vote, and I'm very happy and curious to see what's going to come out of this. And then probably next week, since this is a more relaxed week and it's a week when I do not have to rush to do shit, I will likely go and get my costume and get it locked in for Halloween. Okay? So it's not a nomination. This is a voting. Because remember, there's multiple categories. The categories were as follows. All right? Like horror movie monster or slasher killer, you know what I mean, like classic Hollywood horror stuff. Video game character, comic book character, pop culture icon, or wild card. And wild card is basically my choice, pick whatever I want. Okay? And you guys have been voting for a month now. And quite frankly, it's been neck and neck between many different things. At one point, the horror option was actually out front. But since then, it's kind of fallen by the wayside, and now it seems like it's right between video game and pop culture. All right? So, FYI, don't get your hopes up, because people make up some ridiculous things of what the costumes could be, and I'm not going to give you a single hint on what my ideas are, because I don't want it to be spoiled. I want it to be fresh or interesting on Halloween. I don't want it to be like a spoiled thing that you know ahead of time what I'm doing. Okay? But, FYI, both ideas I think would be good. And so, we'll see what happens, but please keep voting. You have until next Tuesday, well, this Tuesday coming up, or next week, to vote. And then I'm going to close off the poll, and then I'm going to go get the costume. Okay? There you go. Now, that would be crazy. What would be really crazy is if the voting completely flipped, and it ends up being wild card or comic book character or something that like isn't even close to being in the running. Because I certainly wouldn't expect that. But I think it's either going to end up being video game character or pop culture icon. One or the other. And like I said, both I have good ideas for costumes. So either one's okay with me. Although personally, I think one would be a little bit better. Just keep voting. Okay, guys? Okay, good. Also, please keep nominating games. Same deal here. I'm going to close off the nominations for the Halloween Marathon by Tuesday. That way I have time, like a week basically, to go through them, find the ones that make the most sense, and try to get those games in order to play them on Halloween. Alright? So, Halloween stuff coming up. It's going to be super fun, as usual. I always enjoy the Halloween marathons. And then next month, holy shit, do I even need to tell you guys about the exorbitant amount of releases coming out in November? I think you guys probably already know. I mean, I'm going to be continuing on with things like Watch Dogs Legion, which I'll just have started. So you know that's going to be a major playthrough. It's going to take a while. And balancing it with other stuff until we get to the more new... Every week there's multiple new releases now in November, which is going to be out of control for sure. Okay. Stinky Dinks, why are you asking me about the Home Alone movies? What is going on? That's it. You know what? No, I got to put my foot down now. All right? Because now we're done talking about games in the schedule. I got to put my foot down. I've had enough. It's only October 14th. It's not Christmas yet. I don't want to hear about Christmas. I don't want to watch Christmas movies. I don't want to see Christmas stuff being sold in stores. I don't want to hear Christmas music playing over the loudspeakers everywhere I go. It's October. All right? Now, here's the thing. I understand. We're in a unique worldwide position right now. The pandemic has hit. And because of the pandemic, trick-or-treating is pretty much done in most places. Most places are saying, yes, Halloween is pretty much shot this year. There's not going to be any big-scale Halloween parties. The kids aren't going to be able to trick-or-treat. Okay? Basically, it's over. It's all over because of the pandemic. I understand that. That doesn't mean it's Christmas. It's not. Christmas is 2.5 months away, folks. This is ridiculous at this point. I couldn't believe it. Yesterday I went out, and my wife and I are at a store. Incidentally, it's the store where we got the alarm clock. And we hear playing over the fucking loudspeaker, what was it? Oh, I've got my Love to Keep Me Warm. And then it's fucking rocking around the Christmas tree. I wanted to throw my phone at the speaker. What the fuck? We're in a store. Now, yes, some of the Christmas stuff is out. What they've done is they've tried to rush out the Christmas shit because they realized absolutely no one is really buying Halloween stuff this year because Halloween is dead because of the pandemic. Now, I don't know why they think Christmas is going to be, like, immune. I hate to tell you guys, Christmas is going to be just as bad. In fact, we're heading into cold and flu season when most of these viruses pass even easier from person to person. So, if anything, the pandemic is going to get more dangerous in the next few months. Why do we think that Christmas is going to be normal this year? It's not. It's not. Christmas is going to be just as bad as Halloween. You're not supposed to gather with people, including your loved ones. You're supposed to distance. You want to get someone a present, buy it to them and send it through the mail. Do not fucking show up. Do not eat with me. Stay the fuck away. Lock yourself down. Cover yourself in bubble wrap. Leave me alone. I don't want to get sick. Okay? So what the hell are we doing this year? Seriously, like, what is happening? Why are they putting out Christmas shit? I'm just... Okay, let's be honest. We know why. Because retail stores are dying now. This year has destroyed retail stores in an unprecedented way. Just think about it. This all started around January, and the lockdowns started around March, right? That means they missed out on Valentine's Day, Easter, right? Memorial Day, 4th of July. You know, all these holidays that usually bring in increased sales. The sales didn't exist. The stores were closed, right? Here in Washington State, we locked down in March, and we didn't actually open up until late June at a limited capacity, and we've been at that limited capacity since then. And then it took a while for certain stores to open slowly because they weren't ready. And I'd say probably about 2 months now, August and September, things have pretty much been, you know, limited capacity but open. But you know these stores are hurting. They can't even pack the stores anymore. You can't. You know, there's a certain head count, right? You can't let more than a certain amount of people into your store. The capacity limitations and everything to stop the virus. So can you imagine the retail industry that's almost, you know, on the fringe of dying here because of online ordering, and now this happens. So they're like, well, Halloween's a big moneymaker for us, man. We sell costumes, we sell candy, we sell decorations. Not this year. It was hilarious because Kat and I were at Target I'd say about 2 weeks ago. And they have at Target, they have a ginormous Halloween section. Not only do they have tons of candy, like, I'm not even kidding, like 7 aisles of candy, but then they also have a whole area with costumes, decorations. It was fully stocked and no one was buying anything. It was just like as if it was untouched by humans when we were walking through it. Like, yeah, no one's doing it this year. So, it's concerning for the retail industry with Halloween over. Let's push out Christmas. But I'm sorry, it is fucking irritating that you're going to tell me to buy Christmas stuff on yesterday was October 13th. And I'm fucking hearing this shit. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I've got to weather the storm and the icicles of December. I got my love to keep me warm in the middle of October? No! Give me blood. Give me monsters. Give me spookiness. Ghosts. Ghoulies. We can't skip this. I refuse. Thank God that I work in a way that I do it from home and I can still celebrate these holidays with you guys, because I'd be furious if I started celebrating Christmas now. Seriously. Incredibly upset. Okay? Anyway, stop this nonsense. I demand that we stop this nonsense, this Christmas shit, right now. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about this morning before we get to shout-outs, the Monster Hunter movie. Okay? It looks like Duty. Are you surprised? It's from the director of all the Resident Evil movies. And guess what? They were Duty too. The movie has nothing to do with the games. It's a bunch of people with guns shooting monsters that are inexplicably coming out of sand. Ladies and gentlemen, can I give you a hint? Alright? Air-breathing creatures don't live under the sand. Maybe a few bugs. Alright? Not giant beasts. They don't live under the sand. And we don't magically not know about them when they come out and start attacking us. And we shoot them with chain guns. Alright? This is stupid. This has nothing to do with the games. You know the games, Monster Hunter, it's a world, it's its own lore, where it's got humans crossed over with anthropomorphic animals that have human traits, and they're your friends, and you team up with cool mythical abilities like magical weapons and all kinds of cool gadgets and gizmos, and it's your job to harness the power of these monsters and level up and do it, none of that's in the movie. None of it. None of it. They're like, oh, fuck that, right? Who cares about any of that beautiful gaming world that was created, right? Just fucking throw that out. Stupid ass movie with Mila Jovovich again playing exactly the same character she played in every Resident Evil movie. It's no different. It's the same. Basically, you might as well call this Resident Evil Monsters Edition. It's the same fucking movie. It looks identical. It looks like the. I couldn't believe it. I'm watching the trailer. I'm like, they really didn't try. Like, there was no effort put into this. This is just, it's the same movie with monsters instead of zombies. Right? I just couldn't believe it. I'm watching my jaw dropped watching the trailer. Like, they did not even bother. Right? So, it looks terrible. It comes out in December. And it's hilarious because the director, the same guy who directed all the Resident Evil movies, and by the way, who's married to Mila Jovovich, which is why she gets the lead in all these fucking movies. Wow, really earned on her acting skills, right? Yeah, right. Basically, he's gloating on social media. He actually put up a post a couple days ago, him sitting in a chair, director's chair, in the middle of the desert, and he's filming the movie. And the comment on the social media post says, "Oh, the disappointment and the horror when all those other directors were trying to get the rights to Monster Hunter, and they found out that I already had it." And it's like, yeah, you know what? I think we all were disappointed too. Because, another director might have actually tried to make a movie that has something to do with the games, when all he did was literally lift the monsters out of the game, put them into a movie that has nothing to fucking do with Monster Hunter, and call it Monster Hunter. So, that movie, it really looks bad. I'm sorry. It looks pretty shitty to me. And I'm not even a huge fan of Monster Hunter. As you guys know, I played one of them on the 3DS, and I quit playing it after like 4 sessions because you guys got bored. And I played Monster Hunter World's beta and never even bought the final version. So, I'm certainly not the most qualified person, but I can tell you after playing the franchise for about 12 hours that this movie has nothing to do with the games. Because I'm not an idiot. Right? So anyway, it looks bad. And of course, I'm upset because I like Resident Evil. Like I told you guys, it's my favorite survival horror series of all time. Even though Silent Hill's great, I still think Resident Evil's the best one. Okay? And that being said, I played all the major Resident Evil games over the years, really enjoy them. And when they started making the movies, I got excited. The first movie almost follows the plot of Resident Evil 1. I say almost because it has a mansion that's a secret lab. It has a zombie outbreak. I mean, to some extent, it follows the plot. But not really. There's no tyrant, you know. There's no Wesker, right? Like, well, there is Wesker. But it's very, you know, it's very different. It just definitely doesn't follow the plot of the games to a T or anything, right? And every single Resident Evil movie, in my opinion, got worse and worse and fucking worse. Just more stupid, more unbelievably, you know, over the top dumb. Nothing to do with the games. And that upsets me as a fan of the games. Now, they finally finished their movies of Resident Evil. What's his name? Paul W.S. Anderson, or where the fuck his name is. So they finally finished his Resident Evil movies, which made billions of dollars. I'm not kidding you. Billions of dollars. People kept packing theaters to see these shit movies. All right? So that's why they lasted so long. Now they said, oh, guess what? We're finally making Resident Evil. Wait, what? Yeah, we're making a real Resident Evil movie now that follows the plotline of the games. And here's the casting. And you look at the casting, you're like, oh my god, the casting's good. Like, wow, that guy really looks like Wesker. That guy really looks like Chris. And yes, there's a couple characters that maybe don't look to a T who they are in the games, but you could tell they're trying. And the director says, I'm a fan of Resident Evil, and I've always wanted to see the actual game franchise hit the silver screen. And now it's finally going to happen. It only took like 20 years, right? So, holy shit. I'm excited for the new Resident Evil movie whenever it's going to come out, and I couldn't possibly be less excited for Monster Hunter, which looks terrible. Okay? All right. Now, Snick36 says Mortal Kombat was one of the best video game movies ever made, and it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. All right, Snick, I'm going to agree with you here, and here's why. There were so many bad video game movies in the 90s that Mortal Kombat was actually good. Like, it was, if you hold up the original Mortal Kombat movie to other movies, you might say that movie sucks. But if you actually hold it up to the genre of movies, of video game movies, it was the best one. By far, it was the best one at the time. It didn't necessarily 100% follow the plot of the game, but it was actually quite good in representing the characters, who they were supposed to be. That Shang Tsung was actually outstanding. Like, that Shang Tsung was a really enigmatic, charismatic character. If anything, it was like Liu Kang who was the bad portrayal. Johnny Cage was done really well in that movie, you know? So, and that was probably the last good movie that Paul W.S. Anderson made, you know? Because after that, he went to the Resident Evil ones, and they were terrible. So, it's kind of like, how do you say? It's kind of like George Lucas. By the way, no, I'm not saying that Paul W.S. Anderson is as good of a movie maker as George Lucas. I would never say that. Not even in the same fucking galaxy. All right? But George Lucas, in the 80s, was an unstoppable dynamo. He pumped out a bunch of good movies and a few stinkers. Let's be honest. There was a few shitty movies in there too. But mostly good movies. And then all of a sudden, the guy just lost his mind and made a bunch of shit, right? And then to the point where now all his movies have been taken away from him. They won't let Lucas make movies anymore. They took away Star Wars. They took away Indiana Jones. They're like, get away, right? Get away. You're not allowed to do this anymore. You lost your touch. That's kind of Paul W.S. Anderson. Like the earlier movies were good. Mortal Kombat was good, and then he started making Resident Evil and went all downhill from there. Okay. That's correct. Pyromechanicus says the Shang Tsung representation in the Mortal Kombat movie was so iconic, it became the basis of future Shangs in the Mortal Kombat modern games. That is correct. He was so good, such a well-written, interesting, charismatic character that it ended up becoming modern Shang Tsung, right? And that's cool. All right. Anyway, I think I'm done ranting. Let's do some shout-outs. So one thing I'll say, guys, we're about to start with shout-outs. Thank you for all the support recently. We've had a lot of ups and downs recently. This year, we had the dawn of the vests, and the you know, putting on the vest as a tips goal and the vest streak. All right, we had all kinds of fun stuff going on. You know, now every day we have different rewards like gunner glasses and vests going on, and you guys support me in so many different ways. I appreciate anyone who cheers or subs or tips. You know, all those things are very positive, and they help me out. In particular, the last week, I asked for help with tips, and you guys helped me with tips, and I appreciate that. I got through yesterday and didn't really have any problems affording anything because of you guys. All right? I really, really do appreciate that. Moving forward, any kind of support is accepted and, you know, appreciated. You want to cheer with bits, you want to subscribe to the channel, you want to tip me, they're all great. We're going to keep doing the tip goals, right? If we raise $50 in tips on a stream, I put on the gunner glasses. If I raise $100 in tips, you guys get to pick a vest as a reward. I'm trying to remember, what was the vest that I wore on Monday? It was the beige, wasn't it? I think so. Wasn't it the beige vest? It was a surprise you guys voted for the beige. I was shocked that you voted for the beige vest because you guys almost never vote for the beige vest, right? And that's what I ended up wearing, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so today, all vests are eligible but beige. Okay, so I hope that you guys will consider supporting the streams if you can. Keep in mind that on my streams, all contributions are completely optional. They are not mandatory at all, nor are they expected. I'm very grateful for anyone who contributes in any way. Obviously, if you tip me, that's a way that gives me immediate help to afford things coming up like game cost and stuff like that. But any kind of contributions are appreciated right now. Now, we had to make a big change on Monday. There are no longer pop-up messages for tips. All right? For cheering, subbing, gifting a sub, all right? There's pop-up messages on screen that say thank you for that. But sadly for tips, we had to stop that because of malicious people or persons, it's hard to tell if it's one person or more, doing basically illegal tips. They're taking stolen credit card numbers, tipping me a bunch of money that I know is going to get charged back later because it's stolen information, okay? They were saying such disgusting things on my stream in these pop-up messages that I had to basically turn them off. So if you tip me today, yes, absolutely, I will give you a shout out and say thanks, but I can't have a pop-up message because these people have found a way to break the law and abuse the system, which is ludicrous that they do this because it's multiple felonies. They could go to jail for a long time if they ever get caught, but apparently they don't care. They think that committing crimes on the internet anonymously is, you know, completely safe, and they just don't give a fuck about doing the wrong thing. All right? So this is what I had to do. That's what I had to do in regards to, you know, tips to protect the streams. I mean, people were so upset over the weekend that such disgusting, vile things were being said in these fake tip messages that I had to turn that on. All right? Now, if you're someone who wants to tip and you try to tip and you get an error message and it says something like you're blocked or whatever, you can let me know because this person also was impersonating stream regulars over the last week using their names to do these vile tips, and I tried to block them. Inadvertently, I didn't know this would actually block people who are legitimately using those names to tip, which I had no clue that would happen. So if you're someone who's a regular and, you know, oh, I always support Phil, let me try to tip, and it doesn't work, let me know, and I could try to fix that. I have to do it manually here, so I'll do my best. I actually did that to a bunch of people on Monday. I tried to help them out because I was like, damn, that sucks. You know, they want to contribute, I want to do a shout-out, and it's all screwed up because of this idiot. So I should be able to try to fix that. On the fly here, live. Okay? Alright, so all contributions are appreciated. Please consider contributing. I'm sure people are going to ask, well, what's going on with those giant cheers you got last month and everything? I have no idea. I have not gotten paid by Twitch for the month yet. I don't know when I will. Typically, they do it by the 15th, but who knows? You know, right now, there's nothing to give me an indication that anything is bad or fake or whatever. I mean, yes, I guarantee you I'm going to get insane amount of chargebacks for these false tips that I've been getting for the past several weeks. But outside of that, I have no idea what's going on with cheers. Okay? So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping they're real. That would help tremendously. It seriously would. But we'll find out soon. Okay, guys? Alright. Are we now ready for shoutouts? Okay. Let's do shoutouts. So first of all, I have several shoutouts to do here. Ah, my ear itches. You know what? What's going on here? Apparently tips have been coming in, But I didn't get any. What is this? I see. I'm taking a look at... Yeah, what the hell's going on? I got a bunch of tips this morning, but they're not showing up in my feed. What the hell happened here? Let me try refreshing. Because I see I got at least 3 tips this morning. But for some reason, they're not in my feed. What the fuck? Oh, now they're there. What on earth? Wow, we got some glitches this morning. Yeah, we got some glitches this morning. That's weird. Yeah, it showed that people had tipped. And thank God I checked my email, because it shows when I get tips in my email. And they weren't showing, and I had to refresh it. Now it's there. Okay, I don't know. That was weird. I guess we're having an error here with Streamlabs, but I can see them now. Good, because I want to give people shout-outs for their contributions. Okay, so first of all, we start off with people who contributed during my day off, and we had a few cheers there. From what I'm seeing, it looks like Golden Colts cheered a few times. There was a few subs and a few cheers. The problem is, I don't see them all. What I see here is Narcissus resubscribed for a year during yesterday's day off. Thank you so much, Narcissus, for that support. I also see Duchamp subscribed yesterday. Thank you, Duchamp, for the support. Okay, I see those. Outside of that, I know Golden Colts had cheered, but for some reason it's gone. I think there was some kind of a weird Streamlabs error, and it deleted stuff. Over the course of the last day. I don't know. This is weird, because like I said, the tips weren't showing, and now they're there. So obviously something's going on here. Something odd. But anyway, thank you guys for the support. I appreciate that. Let's now get to people who contributed today, since that looks like it's working. Okay? All right. So shout out, first of all, to J Bowler 21, who resold for 25 months. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate the ongoing support. Sambuca 2020 resubscribed for 21 months. Thank you, Sambuca. I appreciate that. Rob is here, and he tipped me $5, and he says, the thing with people making fun of my accent is getting old. People need to grow up. I'm not even aware of it, because I don't pay attention. So many people say stupid shit about me on a daily basis that I don't give 2 fucks. And like I said, where I come from, East Coast of the U.S., everyone talks like me. So to me, I have no accent. Of course, to people who don't live on the East Coast of the U.S., you probably say, Phil has an accent. I'll probably change over time, too. You know, I've lived in Washington State now for 6 years. And undoubtedly what's going to happen is my dialect, my mannerisms of my dialect will end up probably changing to how people talk out here. That's just what happens, right? You move somewhere, and you get used to being there, or you know what I mean? And things change over time. So we'll see what happens with me living in Washington, likely for the rest of my life. But I'm pretty sure that I do have an accent. People will make fun of it. There's nothing I can really do about it. I just ignore it because I don't give a fuck. Okay? So, Rob, what I would say is, first of all, thank you for the $5 tip. First tip of the new streaming week. And it's much appreciated. Don't let it bother you. Seriously, don't let it bother you. Okay? X-Venom Symbiote resub for 27 months. Thank you, X-Venom Symbiote, for the resub. You know what I should say, guys? Don't worry about the subs. The subs went down a lot over the last week because there was a ginormous amount of gifted subscriptions to the channel, all right, that happened last month to make the Halloween event happen. And if you remember, it was around the middle of last month that we hit the goals to make the Halloween event happen, okay? All those gifted subs are expiring. That's okay. If people want to resub, by all means do, okay? I know you guys enjoy having all those emotes. You enjoy not having to watch ads when I take my break. I know you like having the crowns to show how long you've been a supporter. You know, over 40 emotes is pretty crazy, especially the new ones, the werewolf and the zombie emotes that we added for Halloween this month. If people want to sub, they will. All right, and thanks to all those of you who do, I get the feeling once the new releases start hitting, we're going to get a natural influx of new viewers who are going to come in here and hang out with us, and they'll probably end up subbing, at least some of them, right? This is not something to really freak out about. It's just not. I'm not worried about it. The subs naturally go up and down. And by the way, next month, for the month of November, we'll have a new subscriber goal for the month. It's going to be the Christmas event, right? People will be able to nominate games they want to see me play at Christmas, and yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go too much into detail about it, but yeah, Christmas event. So people will probably sub to see the Christmas event happen, you see? So I'm not too worried. All right? Just relax. Don't worry that the subs go up and down. It happens naturally on channels all the time. When there's a reason to sub, like new games coming out, and you want to support the channel because I have all the new games and I'm playing them, or you want to support a new event coming out, then people will sub again. I'm not nervous about it. Okay? All right. So X-Venom Symbiote, thank you for 27 months of sub support. I appreciate that, man. Jay Hawkwood put up the very first cheer this morning saying that I take advantage of Prime Day to get some good deals. No. In fact, yesterday was my day off. I didn't sit down and look at a single thing on Amazon. But I have a funny story to tell. You got to be worried, guys, and I'm serious about this. I'm personally worried about stuff ordered from Amazon moving forward, especially for the end of this year. Because as you know, because of this pandemic, online ordering is way, way up. Way, way up. Okay? And, you know, you're going to have people who are good, and you're going to have people who are terrible at delivering shit. So, on Monday, I realized I was running out of a commodity here in the house that I needed relatively quickly. I'm almost out of it. So I went to Amazon, where I usually order this item from. I reordered, all right, and I have Amazon Prime, and they said it's in stock at a local warehouse. You'll get it tomorrow. Great. Sounds good to me. All right, so I was out all day yesterday, and I get an email while I'm out saying your item was delivered. Great. It'll be home when I get home. Sounds good to me. I come home. I look all over my front porch. It's not there. I look at my driveway. It's not there. I look at my neighbors because I think maybe they got confused and they left it at my neighbor's house. It's not there. Okay, so I go online to Amazon.com and they track it. Oh, the courier, because when you do Amazon Prime, typically it's a courier who delivers it. It's not like you won't have the USPS deliver it. You won't have UPS or FedEx. It's usually an actual person that Amazon contracts, pays directly to deliver their Amazon Prime deliveries to get them on time. Okay, and when Amazon Prime delivers something, they're supposed to take a picture to show where they've left the item. That way there's no discrepancy about where the item was left, and you can prove that it was delivered. Well, guess what? Not only did I not get the item, the person did not take a picture at all, and the person claimed they hand delivered it to the resident. A blatant lie because I was not home. So I had to call Amazon, talk to their customer service department, which of course profusely apologized and says, "We're so sorry that this happened. We're gonna tell them that they need to figure out what's going on." So they did. They told me someone made a mistake, someone lied or something. Basically, this is bad, and we agree with you that you should have gotten your item. We promise you it'll be there tomorrow. If you don't get it tomorrow, which is today, we will give you a full refund, or we will just ship you a replacement item and have someone else deliver it, hopefully. Hopefully. Because who knows if you get the same courier a second time, right? So, this is hilarious. So, I was like, okay, whatever. This morning, I get a text message from my neighbor. I was outside this morning doing gardening, and an Amazon Prime delivery driver came to the back gate of our facility, looked around as if confused, and threw your package over the top of the locked gate, which then crashed onto the concrete, ran into their vehicle, and sped away. What? I'm not making this up. I was like, huh? This has never happened to me before. I've had things through Amazon Prime a million times. The thing is, all right, all the instructions for getting into my community are well known by Amazon. People here order from Amazon all the time. All my neighbors do. Amazon has all the information on file on how to deliver here. It's not like, oh, the guy just literally had no idea what to do because it's a gated community. So, he was confused. All he had to do was go online. It's all there. It's listed for Amazon. They do it all the time. They deliver here. So this guy was a complete fucking idiot who didn't know what they were doing. And just decided to be a half-assed idiot. So first of all, they lied yesterday. Basically, yesterday, either they couldn't figure out how to get in the gate, or they just didn't care, and they lied about it, claiming that they had delivered it when they didn't, in the hopes that they would just deliver it today and no one would notice. And then today, they couldn't figure it out and couldn't be bothered, so they throw it over the fucking fence. Okay? Now, thankfully, it was nothing fragile. Like I said, it was a commodity. This is an item that's, it's not a big deal. But can you imagine if that was my fucking PlayStation 5? Right? Now, I'm not saying that... Probably guy's fucking idiot weakling anyway. Probably couldn't throw the PlayStation 5 over the gate even if he wanted to. But can you imagine? It's a heavy, valuable thing. And he fucking throws it over a fence? And leaves it in the middle of the street. That's the other thing. It was just sitting in the middle of the street. And so, luckily, my neighbor witnessed this, went over, picked it up, saw it was for me, walked it over to me and texted me and said, I brought it to you. You know, here it is. And it's fucked up. Now, here's the other fucked up thing about the situation. I can't complain about it. The way Amazon is set up, if you don't get an item, you can put in a complaint online, and then that's filed, and then you get talk to a customer service rep or whatever, and they handle your case. So I went online to follow up and tell them what happened in the hopes that, let's be honest here, they need to fire this person. You can't have a person throwing people's items over fences because they're lazy or stupid. They shouldn't be working for Amazon. They need to be fired. So I go to the site to do it. You already entered feedback about this delivery. You can't enter second feedbacks to have a good day. That's actually what it said. I couldn't even call, like, there's no way, I couldn't figure out a way to call again. Customer service, because it's like, once you've done it once, it closes your case, and there's nothing you can do. I'm like, what? Right? So, I can't even follow up. I'm nervous. Well, I'm serious. Like, the only major thing I'm going to have delivered here soon is the PS5. That's next month. What if I get the same motherfucker? Right? And he's so dumb, he can't figure out how to deliver it properly, and he fucking leaves it somewhere he's not supposed to, or he throws it over the fence. Right? It's pretty fucked up. So, I don't know what's going to happen now. Now I'm actually superbly nervous about the PS5 delivery. I am. Because this is fucking super stupid. And obviously you should be employing people who are worth the shit, and Amazon is not. They're just hiring anyone because the demand right now is so high for delivery because everyone's ordering stuff online that this is going to happen all through the holidays. Right? So I guess we'll see what happens. If I get the PS5 on launch day, great. I might not get it, or I might not get it in one piece. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know I'm going to fucking really be angry. Like, you may hear some things you never heard on my 12 years of me streaming if I don't get my PS5 or it gets broken because of some shithead delivery guy. Alright? So, and by the way, I'm definitely not saying all Amazon delivery guys are like that. I've had many things delivered to the house from Amazon Prime that were very, very good. Put in a nice position, taking the picture. I even get either a ring or a knock on the door. Sometimes even a text message saying, your item's delivered, go get it now. So that way, if there's something valuable, it's not sitting out there all day. Alright? So, we'll see what happens. Okay? Alright. Let's continue. CM Fool tipped me $2, says I still have not defeated Hop in Pokemon. Really? He's beaten you constantly. You've never beaten him once, huh? Well, you must be at a standstill because you have to fight him relatively early on in Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you didn't beat him once, that means you didn't get too far. I'm shocked you didn't trade the game, and obviously he's joking. Okay. Ninja Star Rune cheered. Said, thoughts on organ donors? Are you one? I don't know if I could ever be one. I'm afraid paramedics will let me die to get a set of kidneys or something. Of course, that's what happens. If a paramedic sees that on your driver's license or your information card says you're an organ donor, what they immediately do is they start cutting your body up right there in the ambulance. They just take out these giant bone saws and they start cutting off your limbs, ripping you apart. Like, you ever see the movie Day of the Dead? When the guy is in the hallway and he gets ripped apart by zombies, they open him up and rip his intestines out. That's what they do. They just start ripping your organs out right there. Taking your body apart while you're still alive and fully conscious. It's pretty fucked up. So if you're an organ donor, you better fucking hide your ID card. What the hell are you talking about? Anyway, Captain Caveman did a 100-bit cheer, which is the biggest cheer of the day so far, and he said, ho, 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 you'll shoot your eye out, kid. Captain Caveman, that's it. That's it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back after hearing Christmas music yesterday, and now you're referencing A Christmas Story. In the middle of fucking October, it's all over, dude. Now I'm unhinged. Today, you're going to regret this decision, my friend. You're going to regret this like you've never regretted anything before. I'm telling you. I'm just kidding, by the way. CM Fool. To me, $4.20. It says, is that... Wait. Chat, The Quiet Man Part 2 is a horror game. Huh? Chat the Quiet Man Part 2 is a horror game. CM Fool, thank you for the $4.20 tip. Let's move on. I don't know what the hell you just said. Okay. Ninstar Rune has cheered and says, you blame the directors and scriptwriters for shitty game adaptations. Maybe the game creators should put their foot down and demand an element of control so the movie has artistic integrity. I mean, let's be honest here. You're right. Capcom sold the rights of Resident Evil to the company that made those shitty Resident Evil movies. So obviously Capcom's to blame for partially for how bad they are. At the same time, Capcom made bank on that shit. I would guarantee you Capcom made a lot of money from those movies, even though they're terrible. You know, even though they have really nothing to do with the fucking game series, they probably took a big paycheck for that. And so they're not going to do shit about it, right? Honest Fan says, I skipped his cheer. Nope. I did not, Honest Fan. There's no cheer from you here yet. Maybe it's coming up. But there's no cheer from you yet. Unless, again, it could be an error from Streamlabs, because Streamlabs earlier wasn't even showing the tips. Ninstar Rune cheers. Says you blame... Oh, I just read that. Captain K-Man cheered. He says, Resident Evil pissed me off when they got rid of the live-action cutscene in the intro of the first game. I know. It was good. It was the most ultimately, like, D-movie cutscene quality ever. It was so funny. How they scream or whatever. And when they're getting eaten by demon dogs, and it's, you know, it looks stupid as hell. I remember that. Because, you know, I had the original version on PS1. I remember that shit. Back then, you had to sit there. No lie, you had to sit there for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes just for the opening cutscene to load off the disc. Ninstar Rune cheers. Remember when a stunt woman lost her arm, had her head degloved, and spine ripped apart because of some shitty Resident Evil movie stunt? I guess it's part of the line of work, but imagine giving pretty much your life for a shitty Uwe Boll movie. Yeah, it sucks. Imagine being someone who does stunts for a living and your whole life is basically fucked up because of a horrific accident. Because from all reports, it sounds like they were basically not being safe. And this woman did sue the makers of that Resident Evil movie, blaming the director and blaming other people. And sadly, I don't think she won any of it. I think she lost all the lawsuits and everything. And now basically she can't do her work anymore because she only has one arm. All for a shitty ass scene. From what I'm to understand, she was riding a motorcycle and across like some area, and it was wet or some shit. And what happened was a camera hit her. From what I'm to understand, like the camera was supposed to be going alongside the motorcycle, and someone wasn't paying attention. And so because of that, she lost control of the bike, and the camera smacked her. And that's what fucked up. Oh, she did win the lawsuit? I didn't know that. I thought she lost the lawsuit. I thought I read an article about this months ago saying she didn't win it. Well, I'm glad to hear she won the lawsuit. Anyway, a Foxy Senko cheered and said, Netflix series of Resident Evil looks dope so far, and I'm glad they're making a CGI film where previous ones were great. What's your opinion on them if you ever saw them? I saw a few of them from a long time ago. I saw one where they were at an airport, and there was an outbreak of zombies in an airport, and there was a giant monster they fought. I saw another one. I mean, they're not in line with the games. Like, they have the same characters from the games. Like, they'll have fucking Leon, Kennedy, and shit. But they're definitely not in line with the plots of the games. It's just, like, these weird, like, what-if scenario plots. And I remember watching them and just thinking, meh, they're okay. But nothing like that. Like, nothing great. So, but I've only seen, like, 2 of them. So... TJ Gamebox cheered, asked me if I ever saw the Postal movie. He says, well, it's an Uwe Boll movie. I think it's the best video game movie of the 2000s. Nope, I never saw Postal. Ninstar Rune cheered and said, honestly, the best video game movies I could think of were the animated Street Fighter movies, even though that they're kind of generic. Everything else is either so bad it's good like Mortal Kombat or live-action Street Fighter, or just bad like Resident Evil and Mario Brothers. Well, there you go. Sweaty Man JPEG cheers. Are you planning on editing the videos that were uploaded to YouTube? Because some of them have disgusting stuff in them. No, I can tell you already, they've already been flagged for adult content, and therefore they can't be monetized. Yeah, any of those videos that had the disgusting messages from this fucking idiot who is leaving those tips have been flagged for, strong adult content, and therefore can't advertise on them. All right, there's nothing I can do about that besides block pop-up messages for tips, which is what I've done now. So hopefully this will curtail that problem moving forward. Okay? I just read that. K-Styles1998, subscribed for 47 months in a row. Thank you, K-Styles, for 47 months of support. It is appreciated. Sweaty Man JPEG cheered again. He says, I'm not as bad as the Amazon delivery people taking a shit and pissing on people's lawns. Oh, that's awesome. At least you get some free fertilizer. Instar Rune cheered and says, we're going to slap the Amazon worker in the wagey KG. What the fuck are you talking about? Jay Hawkwood cheered. He said, I've had so many issues with Amazon and USPS, I can't wait till they have robots doing it or delivering stuff with drones. See, here's the thing. USPS is falling apart at the seams to the point where they almost had to declare bankruptcy. They're a business on its last legs of existence. Seriously. Like, they're going to go out of business, at some point. So it's not shocking on a daily basis to hear USPS is doing horrible things and screwing up. Amazon is not. Amazon is flourishing, especially during this pandemic. There's no excuse for them to be hiring the bottom of the barrel people, except that they just don't want to fucking pay good people to do the work. So instead, they just hire a ridiculous amount of unqualified people to do these courier jobs, and some of them are good and some of them are shit. That's what happens when you have contracted workers like that. They're not employees, they're contracted workers, and some of them do a good job and some of them are terrible. Spartan King cheers that Derek is here. He says the Halloween event in Animal Crossing New Horizons is hosted by Jack the Halloween Czar. It kicks off at 5 p.m. on October 31st and ends at 12 a.m. During the time, you'll have the opportunity to trick-or-treat with your fellow villagers as you exchange candies for recipes and lollipops. That sounds fun. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that'll be part of the Halloween event. We'll do like 45 minutes of Animal Crossing trick-or-treating live. Since no one can trick-or-treat in real life anyway, we'll do some virtual trick-or-treating in Animal Crossing. How does that sound? Terrible? All right. Then we're definitely doing it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do some shout-outs. Thank you to those who've cheered so far this week. I appreciate the contributions of those who've cheered. And therefore, I give them shout-outs on my stream right now. We got a tie for 9th place between More Toxic, and Junior Mint 007. In 8th place, it's Retro Jam. 7th place is Mr. Philly a Girl, and that's actually tied for 6th with Robert Evans 420. In 5th place, we got Honest Fan. 4th place, Ninstar Rune. 3rd place, Upscaled Man. 2nd place, Mr. Minecraftish 1. And in 1st place for the week so far, Blue4 2188. Thank you, Blue4. Those are the landscapers outside you're hearing right now, by the way. Also, shout out to those who have gifted subscriptions to the channel. Excuse me. Yes, shout out to those who've gifted subs to the channel so far this week, including Django Pops, Spartan King, Older McLeod 7, and Mr. Minecraftish, who each gifted a single subscription. Green Frog 142 has gifted 5 subscriptions to the channel this week. Thank you very much, Green Frog. TJ Gamebox just cheers that I recently got Twitch affiliate status. Any advice on streaming to everyone on what content I should be producing? Stuff that you get enjoyment out of, and you can genuinely show positivity. What I mean by that is there's plenty of people out there who do shticks. They act like a character. They overrage. I've always said, be someone who exudes positivity. Play a franchise that you enjoy, or a franchise that maybe you don't know a lot about and you're excited to play for the first time and give honest reactions. Just have fun with it. The truth of the matter is, if you're having a good time, that's going to come through in your content, and others are going to enjoy seeing you enjoy. You see what I'm saying? That's my best advice that I can give to you, is if you enjoy what you're doing, it's going to show, and people are going to like the content. If anything, the last 2 to 3 years, where I have changed from being a YouTuber to a full-time streamer, having fun interactions that are positive with my audience, playing games and actually enjoying them rather than rushing through them to do a playthrough for YouTube, I have seen a giant turnaround when it comes to attitudes towards me and new viewership. The first time in years that I've actually seen people really genuinely come and enjoy my stuff, and I would not change for the world because I enjoy what I do so much right now. All right? So just be genuine and do something you enjoy, and I think, at the very least, the way I've always said it is this. If you're enjoying yourself, it doesn't matter if one person's watching you, 100 people are watching you, or 100,000 people are watching you, because at least you're having enjoyment out of it, right? You don't feel like it's a waste of your time. You're having a good time. Hopefully they'll enjoy it too. Okay? Fair enough? All right, guys. And it's hilarious because Lawless X1 just says, yet I can't get near 1,000 viewers with that attitude, right? Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't need 1,000 viewers. The people who come here and hang out with me have a great time with me. They support the streams. So why do I care if I don't have 1,000 viewers if the people who are here are enjoying themselves and supporting the streams and having a good time, right? I've even said this many times over the couple years here, or 3.5 years here that I've been a full-time streamer. If I were bigger and I had so many people on my streams that I couldn't actually read your messages, I couldn't have conversations with you, I couldn't interact, it wouldn't feel as good. It wouldn't feel like I have fun conversations with a viewing audience that I kind of feel like people that I like to hang out with. Instead, it would just be like chaos. And I don't want chaos. I want to have a good, personable stream. Okay? There you go. The Paradox 988 gifted a sub to Bubble Buddy. Congrats, Bubble Buddy, and thank you, The Paradox, for the support. Spartan King Cheer says, not even kidding, an Amazon employee in my state had enough of their job so much in the middle of the day, they just left the truck at a gas station running with the keys in it. They apparently said that was just better than actually having to quit after the shift. They just left it right in the middle. Yeah, and sadly, it's really sad because Amazon right now is on top of the world. They are making ridiculous amounts of money with this pandemic. They are shipping stuff all over the place, making hand over fist tons of money with these home deliveries. Yet, we keep hearing stories about the workers in the factories are being mistreated. They're basically told to overwork, work overtime, and if you get hurt on the job, too bad, that's your fault. Don't ask us for compensation. Don't ask us for health care. You know, I just keep hearing horror stories about Amazon, and that's real shitty. Now, the other flip side of that is I hear that Amazon keeps raising the pay for their workers. So it's kind of like, who do you believe? What's the truth? Maybe it's somewhere in the middle where they're not the best company, but they're not the worst. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your support. Let's take a break. I got to use the bathroom. When I come back, it's Crash Bandicoot 4 Endgame. We're going to finish up the boss fight of World 8. We're going to start with World 9. We're going to see how I do. If I do well today, it's possible I'll beat Crash Bandicoot 4 today. If I suck ass today, it's possible that I'll throw my controller and destroy my console and television and never play games ever again. Not likely, but it is a possibility. So let's see what happens after this break. Okay, thank you guys so far for the support, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Cool. Thanks, guys. I'll be back soon.